DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Today's topic: how to defeat a bigger, stronger, more opponent that has more resources, more experience. They got everything better than you. You had to put everything on paper between you and the opponent. They have every advantage. How do you win in that competition? Can you possibly win in that? Are you ready to quit? Have you already quit? Are you looking at an opponent you're going to have to go against in the future and thinking this is pretty much a foregone conclusion and I'm going to lose, I don't have a chance, there's no way? Maybe you're thinking that maybe there is a way, but you don't know what that way is. You have no idea what you can do and you're looking for a solution. Good thing you came into this video, because I'm going to tell you here today what to do when you're facing an opponent who seems to have every advantage over you. And yes, these opponents can be beat. I thought of this topic when I was thinking about Mike Tyson. And for those of you who are old enough to remember when Mike Tyson was the man in sports, late 80s, going into the early 90s, Mike Tyson was the most dominant athlete in any sport, period. In football, basketball, baseball, Mike Tyson was the man, knocking everybody out. He's knocking guys out in the first round. He was just destroying people mentally before the fight even began. He had people afraid of him, and then he went and destroyed them and showed them why you should be afraid of him. Then he went to Japan and fought this guy named, I think it was Japan, fought this guy named Buster Douglas. And Buster Douglas was just another opponent that Tyson was going to mow down and destroy and keep being his champion, greatest boxer of all time. Some people were calling Mike Tyson at this time. And Buster Douglas knocked Mike Tyson out. And what I'm going to talk about here in this video are a couple principles that Buster Douglas used to knock out Mike Tyson, because it wasn't 100% just what Buster did. It was also some things that Mike did you can use yourself whenever you find yourself facing a bigger, stronger opponent. You should also read a book called David versus Goliath by Malcolm Gladwell, where he talks about how a smaller, seemingly weaker opponent can use their disadvantages to their advantage to win in any type of competition. Number one, understand, first thing you got to understand, this is a mental game thing, is that no man, no company, no opponent is invincible. Nobody is unbeatable. Any human being who breathes and bleeds can be beaten. Now, why do I say any human who breathes and bleeds? Because if somebody stops breathing, they're going to die. And if somebody bleeds too much, they're going to die. So any human being or any living thing that bleeds or breathes, if you can stop them from doing one of those things, they can be beat, which means they also have some other weaknesses besides those. I'm not telling you to go choke anybody to death or cut them open so they bleed out. What I'm telling you is that they have weaknesses. So don't look at anybody as if they're just completely unstoppable, nothing you can do about them. Everybody has a weakness. It may not be the same weaknesses that you have, and it may not be the weaknesses that you are looking for. Maybe you're just looking for the wrong weaknesses, but there are weaknesses out there, and sometimes you got to think a little bit abstractly outside of the box to figure out what those weaknesses are. And when you're talking about an individual specific person, then that's a different conversation. But understand in general that every person has a weakness. So you need to start looking at people as, wait, where is the weakness in this person? Because everybody has one. If you haven't yet found it, it's because you haven't looked hard enough just yet. Number two, when you're looking at an opponent who is bigger, better, more experienced, stronger, start focusing on what you do well. Focus on what you do well, what you can do, where your opportunities are, instead of looking at another person like, damn, look how many games they won, look how many opponents this boxer has knocked out, look how many points this guy scored, look how much business, how much volume this company does that I got to go against, look how many years of experience this person has that I'm trying to win a job against. Instead of looking at what all the things that they can do and all the reasons why it would be challenging for you, start looking at what you do well and not looking at your deficiencies or your weaknesses or your seemingly the level of comparison between you and that person who you think may be bigger, better, stronger, faster than you. Look at what you do well. Focusing on the positive, focusing on what you can do is much more productive than focusing on the possibly negative and what they can do, because you can't control what they do, but you can control what you do. So focus on where your strengths are, combined with looking for their weaknesses. You may find yourself some opportunities. And point number three, when you're going against a bigger, stronger, better opponent, like Buster Douglas was when he fought Mike Tyson, oftentimes, especially if this person is very proud, they have a big ego, which can happen when someone's really good and they've been really good for a long time, their ego inflates. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be a weakness. You can use it against them, because when their ego gets so big, they're looking at you like they're not even looking at you. They don't even notice you. It's like they're looking through you. It's like you're not even there. You're just another sacrificial lamb, another easy opponent that they're going to defeat, right? You ever seen a basketball team that was really good, dominating at any level, high school, college, pro, and they were so good that they were used to blowing out every opponent. So then they played against a team that they underestimated, didn't take the team seriously. That team figured out maybe one or two little small weaknesses that this big opponent had and beat them, not just because that team, brought up all their best skills that day, the underdog team, but also because the favorite team, the better team, the supposedly better team, they just overlooked their opponent. They weren't taking anybody seriously because they were so good for so long that it just seemed like it was a foregone conclusion that they were going to win. You ever seen that happen? Of course you have. Mike Tyson, he was overlooking Buster Douglas. He wasn't taking it seriously. He didn't get into town until a couple days before the fight, which is not normal when you're fighting outside of the country. He didn't train really hard for the fight. There's a lot of things he didn't do leading up to that fight because he was so used to just kicking everybody's ass. He got in that Buster Douglas fight and it didn't go that way. And what Buster Douglas did was break the mold. He let everybody know, look, this guy's not unbeatable. Then Mike Tyson went on and he lost some more fights in his future when everybody thought this guy was just going to go and destroy everybody for years and years. It obviously went a completely different way. So whenever you are going up against a bigger, stronger, fill in the blank, whatever opponent that can do everything better than you, or at least it seems they can, start looking for those weaknesses, focus on what you do well, and play up the fact that they're so much better than you. At least let it show on the outside, while on the inside you're plotting and scheming and strategizing against them because they may overlook you, underestimate you, and that can be exactly what you need to pull off what will be at first an upset, but in the future people are going to be like, damn, that person knew exactly what they were doing. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.